This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes, and today is Pharmacist Friday on Daily with Doc. So I love Pharmacist Fridays as we are bringing information from the pharmaceutical side and viewpoint when it comes to what we can do all on our own without having a prescription. So it seems kind of strange to have a pharmacist making recommendations that don't require a prescription. Well, that's what people do whenever they truly care about people and empowering them to be their own health authority and making those decisions on, taking steps that we can do to build our health rather than suppress it, rather than even add to more deficiency. So today on Daily with Doc, we're going to be talking about some of the little different types of therapies that Pharmacist Ben knows quite well as well. So folks, this program is being sponsored by Daily with Doc. If you were invited by somebody specific, though, we want to make sure that you get back with them. They took the time and they cared enough to share this program with you because they know that there's something within it that is just going to flip that switch in helping you find that better health journey. Now, if there's no one to thank, you found us on your own and you would like to speak with a certified holistic health coach, we do have an amazing team standing by at 855-949-3377. Again, that's 855-949-3377. For everybody, you are welcome to join our newsletter so that you get notifications of when we're going live, and also information about past programs that you can then easily find and connect to. So go to dailywithdoc.com, sign up for our email list, and on our website, you can find some of our past programming, also some great articles that you can use in helping yourself. And don't forget to share. As we as individuals are empowered, we're also empowered to help those around us. And as we help those around us, together, we can impact people's lives around the world in a positive way. And that's what we are all about here on Daily with Doc, as we are a resource for people around the world, which is why we want to make sure that if somebody referred you, that you get back with them. Now, the guest of our Pharmacist Fridays is Pharmacist Benjamin Fuchs. Now, he started out, really wanting to help people. In fact, he started at the ground floor, and he was a pharmacist at Kmart. And as he was going through and figuring out, okay, they've got this pharmaceutical for this, but this nutrition can help that. And he actually got fired for recommending nutrition. So we're glad that he did, because that just opened up the door for him to be able to expand out on his own. He is a compound pharmacist. He specializes in nutrition, but also in skin. So that's from the inside out, folks, and the outside in. There's things to do to protect ourselves and to build that connective tissue all over. And today, we are going to be talking about some light therapy and nutrition. So I've had a few people say, oh, well, I use this type of light in order to help with the collagen in my skin. I don't need to take any supplements. And Ben was kind of surprised that I have had people say that. So we're going to shed some light on this, as today we're going beyond the beam, light therapy and nutrition for optimal wellness. So, Pharmacist Ben, welcome to Pharmacist Fridays on Daily with Doc.
Thank
How are you today?
And I have to say, I know what you did to your hair, but it looks gorgeous.
Oh, this is like I'm growing it out, and I don't
Oh,
know if I grow it out or.
looks awesome. No, it looks so beautiful.
Okay. Well,
Nice
thank
job.
you.
Nice job. So yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
I was surprised when you told me that. Light therapy is not anywhere in, that's apples and oranges. Light therapy is closer to going to the gym than it is nutrition. Light therapy is stimulating. And basically speaking, there's two major forms of light therapy, blue light and red light. Red light therapy uses low levels of red light to improve things like wrinkles and redness, acne, rosacea, scarring sometimes. And it does have a stimulating effect, although blue light is known for its stimulation effects. Blue light is more for sun-damaged skin, something called actinic keratosis, AK, which is pre-skin cancer. Also sometimes for rosacea and for acne. But light therapy is nowhere near isn't in the same league as nutritional supplementation. That's why I was really surprised that people say I use light therapy and I don't use nutrition. That's like saying I go to the gym, but I don't eat right. Light therapy is an ancillary type of skincare or healthcare. You can also use it for joint issues too. It's kind of ancillary, but it's nowhere near in the same league as nutrition. It's for the person who light therapy can be considered for the person who has everything and wants just extra, wants to top off their tank, wants to be 110% covered on all of the different protocols and anti-aging strategies they can use. Nutrition is for everybody, and it's a must. Light therapy is not a must. There's no deficiency disease associated with lack of blue light or lack of red light therapy. Nutrition, by definition, essential nutrition by definition, are nutrients or molecules that the body needs or will manifest a deficiency disease state without. Light therapy is not in that league. There's no such thing as a light therapy deficiency disease. There's vitamin C deficiency diseases. There's vitamin B deficiency diseases. There's essential fatty acid deficiency diseases. There's zinc deficiency diseases, etc. Light therapy isn't in that same category. So I was very surprised. If you have all your needs met, you're working out, you're eating correctly, you're taking your nutritional supplements, and we'll talk about some nutritional supplements that are important for skin health here in a sec, then throw in some light therapy for sure. That way you just, if you want to cover all of your bases and do absolutely everything, but you can't compare light therapy to nutritional supplementation. They're apples and oranges.
Well, pharmacists been, they were thinking that if they're quote unquote eating right,
There's no
that the
eating right. Our whole position, and it's not just our position, this is logical. There's no such thing as eating right. It doesn't exist, eating right. You can eat good food and you can eat as little as possible, but to eat right requires that you get basic nutrition, and it's just not in the food. From the soils to the storage and processing to the cooking, all of this conspires to deplete our foods of essential nutrients. So you can't eat right. That's not possible. You can eat the best you can do, and we should, but you can't get all the nutrition that you need strictly from foods. Number one, they're not even in the foods, but even if they were, you'd have to eat so many calories it wouldn't even be practical. You'd have to eat just to give you an example, sunflower seeds are one of nature's best sources of vitamin E. To get 400 international units of vitamin E, you'd have to eat pounds of sunflower seeds a day. That's not possible. So there's no such thing as eating right in the sense of making sure that you're getting every single nutrient in the correct, generous, and copious amounts that you need strictly from foods. It's not possible. However, by supplementation, you can supplement or you can add to the nutrients in food so that you can eat right plus supplement. And that's really the best position you want to be in. Now, it's not just eating right and supplementing. It's also lifestyle. You got to exercise. You got to sleep. You got to activate the parasympathetic nervous system through relaxation. You got to make sure that you're hydrating. You got to make sure that you're breathing clean air or breathing in general. There's all kinds of other things that you have to do, and that's where blue light and red light maybe can contribute to good health, but it's not like food. It's not like nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Nutrition is how the body gets the energy that it needs to do its business. Our bodies, we look at each other's bodies, and it's unfortunate that we don't have the ability to register what exactly is happening in the body when we look at each other, because if we did, we would be absolutely blown away. One single cell, of which you have 100 trillion, I mean, we have to really work to even comprehend what that means. Even then, it's impossible to comprehend, but figure it this way. You have one cell that's capable of producing 1 billion chemical reactions a second. So let that land. 1 billion chemical reactions a second. What's a second? This is a second. 1 billion things just happen in one cell, but you have 100 trillion cells. Do the math. 100 trillion times 1 billion. That's how many chemical reactions are happening in your body every second. Chemical reaction requires nutrition. So you can see how much nutrition, how relevant nutrition is, and how much nutrition is important for the body to be able to accomplish all this. Under nutritional deficiency states, you're not going to be able to, your body's not going to be able to perform these chemical reactions effectively, and you're not going to feel good, you're not going to sleep well, you're not going to think right, you're going to be more susceptible to disease states, and you're going to have a shortened lifespan. There's no other healing or health modality that has that same kind of critical nature when it comes to how the body operates. Nothing, not exercise, not sleep, maybe water and oxygen. Only water and oxygen are perhaps more fundamental to the performance of the body and cellular chemistry than nutrition. But after water and oxygen, it's the mighty 9 essential nutrients.
Well, so let's talk about the nutrients.
Yes.
Okay. So the 90 essential, something that Dr. Wallach, through his research with pathology, he came up with the 90 essential nutrients.
Yeah.
And that includes what? Minerals, vitamins,
aminos,
and
and
essential
fatty acids. Correct.
Yeah.
Vitamins, minerals, aminos, and fatty acids, and all of them function to facilitate the shape shifting that is a chemical reaction. Let's just back up real quickly. When we talk about chemistry, the average person who's not a chemist tends to eyes glaze over and kind of shut down because it just sounds so intimidating. But all chemistry is shape shifting. Shape A goes to shape B. That is all chemistry. Shape A to shape B. I always use the analogy of Tinker Toys. So you have Tinker Toy A goes to Tinker Toy B. That's all chemistry is. But that A to B is happening countless times a second. That A to B is happening 1 billion times a second in a cell. And of course, it's not just A to B, it's A to B to C to D to E to F, G, and on and on and on. It's just shape shifting. But in order for that shape shifting to occur, energy is required. Energy, we call that driving the chemistry. So you have A, you have B. You maybe remember this from high school. There's an arrow between A and B. A goes to B. A turns into B. That's chemistry. But that A to B requires energy, and that energy comes from food. What's more, it also requires something very interesting that we don't really talk about, but it's kind of fascinating. It's very instructive. That A to B requires a temporary holding station so that the energy that is in A gets shifted over to B by virtue of an intermediary. So that arrow between A and B can be thought of as an intermediary. It's not like A goes right to B, it gradually goes to B, and in the middle there's an intermediary. In that intermediary position is where you have the micronutrients. The micronutrients facilitate that arrow, the movement of A to B. Without the micronutrients, A doesn't go to B. Without the vitamins, the minerals, the fatty acids, and the vitamins, A will not go to B. You'll be stuck at A, and you won't get B. If it happens to be collagen, you're not going to have collagen. If it happens to be an immune cells, you're not going to have immune cells. If it happens to be digestive enzymes, you're not going to have enough digestive enzymes. Whatever it is, the body is a seething, roiling, bubbling chemical factory that is endlessly and eternally, as long as we're alive, taking A's and turning them to B's. Trillions of times, quadrillions, sextillions, septillions, octillions, nonillions of times a second in the body. And all of this requires fuel. It requires energy, and it requires the micronutrients to facilitate that arrow, to act as a temporary way station for the energy to move from A to B. I mean, I don't want to get too complicated because I don't want people to freak out or get overwhelmed by this. So just kind of sit with the amazingness of it and just know that all we have to do is do our Beyond Tangy Tangerine every day, our Ultimate EFAs every day, our OsteoFX or Beyond Osteo every day. And then if there's some other nutritional supplements you want to take for specific reasons, do those every day. But every day, if you supply your body with the mighty 90 essential nutrients and a basic amount of calories derived from protein, from fats, and from carbohydrates, you're going to be fine. However, there are also elements that involve the absorption and the utilization and the digestion of those nutrients, which is why we're always focusing on the digestive system. So you got to take all the things, obviously, but you also have to be able to process them correctly. And that's why the 2 points on the triangle of disease, the digestive system and the blood sugar system, are so fundamental. The digestive system represents the transformation of the foods we eat into raw materials that the body can use. The blood sugar system is phase 2, the second step, and it takes those nutrients that the body can use that have been derived from foods and turns them into stuff that the cells can use. So there's 2 steps, and that's why those are the 2 fundamental steps on the triangle of disease. Those are the ways food gets turned into us. Step 1, big chunks of hamburger and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and pizza and whatever we're eating gets broken down into carbohydrates and amino acids and fatty acids, and then it goes into the intestine. Then once everything gets into the bloodstream, all those little breakdown products get transferred into forms that cells can use. Both those steps are important. And one of the things we're doing, and we've done over the last 150 years or so, 100 to 150 years, is we've flooded the body with macronutrients, the proteins and the fats and the carbohydrates, without the micronutrients that facilitate the A to B. So now the body has all this energy, but it can't take A and make it go to B. And that's why we end up as the starving obese. All that protein, fat, and carbohydrate represents energy that the body can't do anything with, so it stores it in body fat. And because it doesn't have the wherewithal to turn A to B, we are functionally starving. All of this is quite fascinating, but it's not necessary to know. What's necessary to know is from a nutrition standpoint, is step number 1, you've got to give the body the macronutrients. Most of us are getting plenty of macronutrients, although we're not getting maybe the right macronutrients. Step number 2 is you got to give the body the micronutrients. Under healthy circumstances, I'll say, the micronutrients come with the macronutrients. We call that a whole food. And up until probably the middle of the 19th century, that wasn't an issue. There were no processed foods before then, or very little processed foods before then. Starting about the late 19th century, early 20th century, we figured out through the Industrial Revolution how to use high-tech processes to completely separate out the protein, fats, and carbohydrates from the vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, and amino acids, the mighty 90 essential nutrients. So most of us, the vast majority of Americans, the vast majority of people around the world are getting the protein, fats, and carbohydrates without the vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and fatty acids, the mighty 90 essential nutrients. This situation started in the late 19th century, as I said, 1880s, 1890s, 1900s. By the time Dr. Wallach was a kid in the 1940s, it was a severe problem. And this is where he got the insight that if we're giving the micronutrients to animals to make them better, maybe we should be giving them to people too. And he was 100% correct. And this is why people turn their lives around once they get on a micronutrient supplement program. That being said, healing is multidimensional, spiritual, mental, emotional, as well as physical. And health is the fourfold square of health. It's nutrition, but it's also respiration, it's also movement, and it's also rest. The fourfold square of health: nutrition, respiration, movement, and rest. The 4 dimensions of healing and health: spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. It's not that complicated. It's really quite simple. And I had a lady talk to me yesterday. She wanted to know about food. And she said, people are asking me what I'm supposed to eat because I can't eat anything now. No, we can eat plenty, but we just can't eat mentally. The problem with how we eat is we eat from our brains and from our eyes and from our senses. We don't eat from our bellies. And if you want to really do this as an experiment, if you want to lose some weight, this is a great experiment to do. The next time you're really hungry, check in with your belly and see if you're really hungry. And more often than not, you'll find that you're not hungry from your belly, you're hungry from your brain. You're hungry from your mind. If you ever go to a restaurant and you look at a menu and you say, I'm not really sure what I want to eat. I had that yesterday. I don't think I want that today. Oh, I'm kind of bored with the tuna fish. I want to try something different. You ain't hungry. If you were hungry, you wouldn't say, I'm bored with the tuna fish. You'd eat whatever was there. And I'm not saying it to rip on anybody. And this is another really important point that we all have to recognize as distributors, as people are helping folks with their health. You got to be very sensitive with people when you're talking to people about food. There's a real sensitivity there because deep down, we know what we're supposed to do. And we don't want to be reminded of that necessarily. We don't be reminded that that's the wrong kind of food. If our brain says Snickers bar and our belly says no Snickers bar, we're going to go with the brain. We're not going to go with the belly. How many times have you been full, but they put dessert in front of you and all of a sudden you're not so full anymore? Right? Because the food looks and triggers emotional and neurochemical aspects of the brain that make you feel happy and make you feel satisfied. There's a price to be paid. I'm not ripping on anybody for eating cake or pizza or anything else, but there's a price to be paid. And that price is our health. Not only that, but you feel better when you eat less. Most people will recognize that when they eat less food, they don't feel as heavy. They feel lighter. And you can really experience this when you fast. When you fast, you almost don't want to eat. Every time I do a fast for a day or longer, I have to almost force myself to eat, and I'm very careful about what I eat that first bite. Now, I notice after the first bite or 2 bites or 3 bites, I'm back on the wagon, right? It goes away really fast. You forget. But it's almost like you have to go through some resistance to eat that first bite if you haven't eaten for a while. Can you relate to this, Rebecca? Have you done this before?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
You almost have to push through in order to eat something. And then once you eat, you're all good. You're fine. You can do whatever. But that first bite, there's some resistance because inside we know, our body wisdom knows that it's hard. It's putting a burden on the body to process food. The hardest thing a human being has to do on a regular basis is eat and process food. Now, Today, we have been manipulated through chemical techniques to keep eating. Food has been made ultra palatable. It's been made hyper palatable. That means super, super tasty, not in terms of the taste buds, but in terms of the brain. There are chemicals that are put into foods that keep you eating those foods once you taste them. They're called excitotoxins. An excitotoxin is a chemical that is toxin, but it makes your brain excited. So your brain goes, yippee. They can put an excitotoxin on a cat turd, and you'll eat it and you'll think it's a filet mignon. Because the brain, I'm sorry to be graphic, but that's exactly what happens. The brain goes, yippee. And this is how we're manipulated. And this is why every time you see the golden arches, you don't want to drive through, you want to drive past. You want to give them the finger because they don't care about us. They don't care. They just want you eating. They don't care about the hospital. They don't care about the medication you're going to be on. They don't care about your autoimmune or digestive or your blood sugar disease. They just want to get paid. They're the enemy. McDonald's is the enemy. The corporate swill, the box foods, they're the enemy. They're not our friends. And they should be regarded as such. Until we get that through our head, that these are not our friends, and that food has to be respected as medicine. You know, when Hippocrates said, "Let food be thy medicine, and let medicine be thy food," he meant to respect the food for its medicinal properties, for better or worse. And that's really what you have to do. So we want to be careful about how we talk to people about food. And I'm always very, very cautious about talking to folks about food, but it represents a power point, a leverage point. You know, sometimes you'll ask people what the greatest invention was. What greatest invention, the most important invention ever was the wheel, most people will say. I say it was the lever. The lever is, a lever is something where you take a small movement and you get a big result. That's a lever. Tiny little push down and you get a big, big result up. Food is a leverage point. It gives you leverage over the entire biochemical milieu. In fact, along with the thoughts you think and the emotions that you feel, and the water we're drinking, the exercise we do, food represents a major, major, major power point for building or for healing. For building when we're young and when we're healthy, for healing when we're not young and when we're not healthy. And that's why food is so important, and the digestive system in general. And if you want to really hack into the system, you don't want to have to pay attention to a whole bunch of details and really study biochemistry and the biochemistry of foods. Eat less. The less you eat, the longer you live. And that does require understanding the mental and emotional reasons why we eat, and mastering the mind and mastering our emotions are just as important as mastering the physical part of our body. This is why I love longevity and personal development and network marketing so much, is because of the focus we have on mental and emotional and psychological strategies as well as physical strategies. Longevity brings it all together because it brings the mental and emotional and physical, the mental and emotional together with the physical and even the spiritual. Those are the 4 dimensions of healing. So food should be regarded as medicine and as a leverage point. If you want to simplify everything, eat less. One of the beautiful benefits of nutritional supplementation is it allows you to eat less calories because you get more benefit from the calories. Your body can utilize the calories more effectively. You can think of the micronutrients, the vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, the mighty 90 essential nutrients, as the tools the body uses to extract and utilize the energy that are in the calories. If you have more micronutrients, you can extract and utilize the energy from the calories more efficiently. You don't need as many calories. The less you eat, the longer you live. The exceptions are if you're a kid and you're growing and developing, if you're an athlete, if you're post-surgery or pre-surgery, or if you're elderly and frail, you may need a little bit more calories. But for the most part, the less calories you eat, the more resources the body will have available for the good stuff, for movement, for growth, for repair, for creativity, for sexuality, for the immune system functioning, for skin health, for bone health. All of this, all of these wonderful benefits that the body can provide us require resources that are going to be expended on digesting your hamburger. So you do need to, you can't not eat, you got to eat, but the less you eat and the quicker you're satisfied, the more resources will be available for all the good stuff in life. Look, Rebecca, do you want to spend your vitamin C and your vitamin E and your minerals on digesting your food? Or do you want to spend it on having energy? Do you want to spend it on being able to bound out of bed and being able to be creative and exercise and play with your kids and repair your bones and have beautiful skin, right?
Right.
Why would you want to expend your resources on digesting your food when you could be expending your resources on having beautiful skin? Now, again, you can't starve, you got to eat, but the less we eat, the longer we live. Look, you can get by on 1,000 calories a day just fine. I've been doing less than 1,200 calories a day for years now. If you can get by on 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day. Most of us are eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. That's the average person. There are people eating a lot more than that. A Big Mac has 720 calories in it. 2 slices of pizza have almost 1,000 calories in it. So you can see we're wasting our caloric budget. We're spending our caloric budget unwisely. So if you have a caloric budget of 1,200 calories and you spend it on 2 slices of pizza, where are you going to get your vitamin C from? Where are you going to get your protein from? Where are you going to get your magnesium from? All the other nutrients. So learning to supplement wisely and eat less is a major, major longevity strategy and health strategy and growth and repair strategy. Again, exceptions are athletes, young kids, people recovering from surgery, or people who are very frail.
So I could think of a bunch of questions that have come in as you're talking, and really being able to relate to, the fasting. Sometimes we break a fast only because, okay, I've already fasted 24 hours. Let me eat something.
But you can still fast. Yeah, but you still can fast longer. That's true. And by the way,
Yeah.
when you fast, not only do you reduce the load on the body and you conserve your nutritional resources, but the body cleans itself out. The body will actually detoxify and clean itself out during a fast. A lot of people notice that they have a great bowel movement when they stop eating. Then the day after they fast, they'll have this great bowel movement because the body is cleaning itself out. We've talked about the migrating motor complex that pushes the food out through the digestive tract and out of the body. It's suppressed by food. So the less you eat, the more likely you're going to be to pump things through your digestive tract. Not only that, but at the cellular level, cells clean themselves out via a process called autophagy. And so autophagy and detoxification and elimination are all improved by fasting and eating less. And you have more time, and you have more money, and you have more energy. It seems like a no-brainer. But again, we have to get through the psychology of it, because eating gives us pleasure, and it gives us pleasure above and beyond the foods. It gives us chemical pleasure because we're the descendants of ancestors who didn't have a lot of calories. So they had to, their bodies evolved to become one-pointed calorie-seeking machines that are always looking for calories. And we got to kind of override that. And there's different ways to do it. Here's a quick hack for folks who want to slow down their eating or reduce their caloric intake but can't. Here's a good trick for you. Go get yourself some flax seeds from Whole Foods or a health food store. Go for the golden flax seeds. They're a little bit better, and look for organic. Grind them up in a coffee grinder, maybe 2 tablespoons full. That's about an ounce. Put them in a coffee grinder. You get a bunch of powder, flaxseed powder. Put it in water. Maybe put a little stevia in there, a little Beyond Tangy Tangerine in there if you like. Drink it down. The fiber from the flax seeds will swell in the water in your stomach and it'll fill you right up. And on top of that, you'll get vitamin E, you'll get magnesium, you'll get as much protein as in a couple of eggs, you'll get essential fats, all these wonderful nutrients, and you won't be hungry. Do it twice a day, and you'll be full. Here's another thing you do. Start your day off with vegetables, with a salad, or with broccoli, or with some kind of fibery vegetable, or start your meals off with vegetables. Don't start the meal off with bread. You know why they give you bread at the beginning? You ever wonder why they give you bread first thing? What's that about? Well, when you eat bread, right, when you eat bread, immediately your blood sugar goes up from the bread, and then insulin comes, pulls the blood sugar down, and by the time they bring the meal, you're super hungry. Or by the time they bring dessert, you're super hungry because your blood sugar is dropped from the bread. So instead of starting off with the bread, start off with a salad. You'll find, not only will you find that you're eating less because you're full, because the salad has the fiber in it, but psychologically, when you start off with a salad, you're going to be less likely to want to have an apple pie or some kind of dessert, some kind of sweet or some kind of fried food. There's a psychology to it. So physically, you'll find yourself filled up. And then psychologically, you'll find it's more difficult to do something bad once you've done something good. If you start off with something bad, it's easier to continue. But if you start off with something good, it's harder to go into something bad. And so these little kind of tricks that you could do. And listen, I love nutritional supplementation. I've been supplementing pretty much my whole adult life. I've been using nutritional supplements. But so much of health is a mental game. One of my favorite books, I love reading. That's my favorite thing to do. One of my favorite books is called The Mental Game of Baseball. And it's about baseball, but it's really about life. Because if you want to succeed in a sport, you got to get your mind right. And guess what? Life is a sport. Life is a performance experience. If an athlete is doing something, we want to do it too, because we're all kind of like athletes, because just getting our butt out of bed in the morning is an athletic event. We're all doing our life like an athlete, and anything an athlete is doing to improve their performance is things that we want to do too. And the best athletes, the Tom Brady's, the Russell Wilsons of the world, are working on their mind. It's no accident that football players meditate. Do you guys know this? Football players before games, they will meditate. They'll sit there and go, Om, just like they were a Buddhist monk. Why? They're not Buddhist monks. They just want to hit a home run, or they just want to run for 100 yards. Because athletic performance, that is physical performance, requires strong mentality, strong psychology. So working on the mental nature and the psychological nature of our life experience is just as important as working on the physical side of it, and they go hand in hand. So what you're talking about here, and what this gal was talking about when she asked me about, you got to talk about foods because people think they can't eat any foods. What we're really talking about is how you master this, what's between our ears. And mastering what's between our ears is not only going to give you a great physical life, a great physical being, it'll give you a great life in general, because so much of life is mental, so much of life is perspective, so much of life is psychology. First thing in the morning, when I get up, I got a stack of psychology books I'm reading, self-help books, spiritual books, personal development books. And then the next thing I read biochemistry, or I read about health, or I read about nutrition. But the first thing I'm reading about spirituality, I'm reading about God, I'm reading about the mind, I'm reading about my emotional nature, and I encourage everybody to do that. This is what will give us a successful, fulfilling life, is mastering this as well as mastering this.
So, we've been programmed to eat 3 times a day. And there's some diets where you graze
Who said
throughout the day.
Who said we have to eat 3 times a day? Where did that come from? Whoever said that we have to eat 3 times a day? Does a lion eat 3 times a day? We've been domesticated. And the price of domestication is obesity. The price of domestication is a degenerative disease. The price of domestication is cancer. The price of domestication is heart disease. The price of domestication is a shortened lifespan. Lions don't have that problem. Giraffes don't have that problem, but cats and dogs do. All the animals that get domesticated, they have the same problems that we have. We want to eat like a lion. Lions don't eat when they're depressed. When a lion has had enough, he stops eating. He doesn't eat 3 times a day. He doesn't stop eating because it's lunchtime. He doesn't stop being a lion because it's dinner time or breakfast. You don't need to eat 3 times a day. You're fine with 1 time a day. The longer you take between meals, the easier it's going to be for the body to process what it has, and the more you're going to be able to conserve your nutritional resources. That's why spreading out your meals is important. The dumbest, they don't say this anymore as much, I still hear it occasionally, but the dumbest nutritional advice, and there's been a lot of dumb nutritional advice that has come out in the last 40 or 50 or 100 years, but the dumbest is to graze all day. Now, I haven't heard people say that as much anymore, fortunately, but they were saying it all the time. Eat all day long. That is the stupidest thing you could do for your body. That you never give your body a break. You never give your digestive system a break. You never allow your blood sugar to stabilize if you're eating all day. So what you want to do is you want to eat once a day. You want to eat as little as possible, and you want to stop when when you're full. And I know that sounds obvious, but we don't do that. In fact, experiment. Do these 2 experiments. Number 1, the next time you're hungry, check in with your belly. And by your belly, I mean not necessarily your belly. It could be your intestine and your stomach. Just check in with your digestive system. Put your attention, and by the way, learning to place your attention in different parts of your body is also, it seems like it's easy, but we don't often do that. But place your attention in your belly as you're eating, and you'll notice there's a shutoff point. There's a point where your belly says, no, I don't want to eat. And that shutoff point is shockingly early. So do these 2 experiments. Number 1, check in with your belly the next time you're hungry and see if you're hungry. More often than not, you're gonna find that you're not hungry. And then if you are hungry, eat slowly. And by the way, when you eat slowly, you allow your biochemistry to catch up. When your biochemistry catches up, the signals for satiety will be more obvious to you. If you eat too fast, you're going to miss the signals for satiety and you're going to overeat. This is why they want you eating fast in fast food places. Fast food places are called fast food places not because they cook the food fast, but because they want you eating the food fast. When you eat the food fast, you eat more. That's why they make the food wet. Even at Boston Chicken, they will inject the chicken with softeners, phosphates, and various chemicals to make the chicken softer, so it gives it slip. They call it throat slip. And so as the food drops down your throat quickly, you eat more. So fast food is called fast food because you eat it fast. Number 1, you eat it fast because it's wet and mushy. There's no fast food that you have to chew. Fast foods are usually wet and mushy because they know that the quicker it goes down your throat, the more you're going to eat. Not only that, but fast food is called fast food because you have to eat it fast, because if you savored that McDonald's hamburger and tasted that gristle and the salt and the mush from the bun, you'd spit it out. With an apple or a pear, you want to savor it, or a grape or a raisin, you want to savor it. With a McDonald's hamburger, you got to eat it fast because you would never eat it if you had to taste every molecule in that hamburger. So we got to understand these fast food places, these processed food places are manipulating us. We're having our strings yanked like puppets. And that's what you want to feel like when you go to McDonald's. We're like puppets by eating that stuff because our bodies don't want it. Our minds do. Our bodies are much harder to manipulate than our minds. Our bodies have much more evolutionary intelligence than our minds do. Our minds are much more susceptible to programming than our bodies are. So check in with your body and then notice when you're not hungry anymore. And I guarantee you'll be shocked. It'll be 3 or 4 bites and you're not hungry anymore. Now, you'll say, oh, I spent all this money on the food, or I spent all this time making the food, or I'm at a party, or I'm at a meeting, I'm on a date, whatever it is. So we eat, notice, and don't even make a behavioral change. Just notice. It's amazing how little food you need to eat to stop being hungry, to be satiated. And you can even speed that up even more by eating fibery foods, or by eating foods that have a lot of nutrition in them, or by supplementing first. I always tell people to drink Beyond Tangy Tangerine with your meals. In fact, drink your Beyond Tangy Tangerine before your meals. If you want to lose weight or you want to eat less food, drink some BTT. Put a scoop of BTT or a teaspoon or a tablespoon of BTT in water, right? And drink it down, and watch what that does for your appetite. So these are all things that, once we understand how the body works, these are all things that we can leverage, that we can use for leverage to make our body to work more efficiently and ultimately to live a longer life.
There's a lot that we can do as individuals. There's a lot of reprogramming. And folks, we need to stop being domesticated.
And stop being domesticated. Yes. Yes, they want us domesticated. We're being killed with comfort. We think we want comfort. The body doesn't really want comfort. Our mind might want comfort. Our brain might want comfort, but our body likes to work. All right. How good do you feel? You know, I don't know how you guys run, and I haven't run for a while, but when I used to run, I used to dread the thought of getting my shorts on and going out and running. But when I got back, man, did I feel good. Holy cow, did I feel good after a good run or after a good workout. The body loves that. The body loves to perform. It loves to work. It doesn't want to overwork, but it loves to work. You know, I always tell this story about if you go hiking. Do you go hiking, Rebecca?
I do like to go hiking. Right? I don't get it very often.
All right. Well, if you ever go hiking and camping and you spend, a day hiking 5 or 10 miles with a big old backpack on your back, you sit down on a rock at 6 o'clock, you're done with your hike, and you sit down on a rock and you make a baked potato, and the baked potato drops in the dirt, and you pick it up and you eat it anyway. And it's the best baked potato you ever tasted in your life. Because after you work, After your work, you feel great. Everything feels beautiful. We've lost that with our comfort because we're so comfortable. We've lost the beauty of the little things in life, like eating a baked potato, because we're so saturated with pleasure and comfort and calories and all the stuff that we need to have a good life. You know, how many of us are worried about our money situation when if we were completely broke, the amount of money we have would sound like we were rich, we were wealthy. We only complain comparatively. You know, you think you got problems now? God forbid you get cancer or you get hit by a car or some horrible accident happens to you. You think any of your problems would matter anymore? No. So we don't want to wait till we have something horrible before we're thankful about what we have. And that's really what we're talking about here, is being grateful for what we have. And by the way, when we are grateful for what we have, the amount of calories the amount of food we have on our tables, the amount of money we have in the bank, the amount of health we have in our bodies, when we are grateful, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest nervous system, the growth nervous system, the repair nervous system, the immune nervous system, the cosmetic nervous system that gives us beautiful skin. All the good stuff happens when we appreciate gratitude, when we're grateful for what we have. So all of these are in the realm of psychology, in the realm of personal development, in the realm of getting our mind and our emotions straight. And to me, that's just as important as the nutritional aspect. And what you're asking me today about blue light, or what my friend asked me about food, is the overlap between our mental nature and our psychological nature and our physical nature.
Well, the last time I went on that long of a hike, I was tracking around Manhattan. Okay. So that was a little different. And then you get all those foods and the smells are totally different.
Right.
And then I was having a conversation yesterday, because I've got a long drive between here and any type of convenience. And we were talking about gratitude and being thankful, and life's too short to get upset about different things. And so, you know, it's crazy.
We have no idea how short life is. The shortness of it it's so amazing. I'm 64 years old. I was 44 yesterday. I'm gonna be 84 tomorrow. I mean, that's how fast this thing goes.
And you know? And this hour is going by super fast, and we have lots of questions.
Okay, look at this. That's a perfect example of how fast it's already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right,
so real quick.
Let me just say this real quick. I love talk. I started studying personal development in my 20s, and it's changed my life. When I discovered self-help and personal development in the 1980s, I completely transformed my life. And I love talking about this kind of stuff, but I don't necessarily want to, if that's not what everybody's interested in, if we want to just talk about nutrition, I'm happy to do that as well. That being said, taking care of getting your mind right, getting your psychology right, getting your emotions right is critical for having a healthy, beautiful life, physically, as well as mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Well, I'm thinking we need to do a health summit and have a segment that focuses on that.
I love that. Everybody should find a self-help book that they like. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be a short little book. There's a philosopher named Seneca who wrote these tiny little books from in the BC, 400 BC, 500 BC. And they're super inspiring books. A guy named Marcus Aurelius was an emperor in Rome. He has a book called Meditations. It's like 50 pages or 100 pages, and it's got the most incredible self-help and personal development advice you'll ever read. It'll take you 5 minutes to read it every morning. Every morning, we should be reading something that involves personal development for 5 minutes or 4 minutes or 3 minutes. Just a little bit is all you need.
All right. So let's do it, folks. We're all going to really dig into not just the nutritional side of it, but also the mental, emotional side of it, so that we can grow and be healthy holistically on a whole. So one of the questions, we're talking about food real quick.
Yes.
I have a client whose husband, he's got some cognitive things going on, takes him a long time to eat, but he will do several eggs per day. Now, if we're doing the nutrition, and we don't want to say that nutrition completely takes the place of food, because we still need those calories.
Supplement.
Right?
The word is supplement. The key word is supplement. Rebecca, do you have a supplemental income? Yes, you have a supplemental income, right? But is that your income? That's a supplemental income. That's not your income. That's a supplemental
Right.
income, right? You
Right.
can't live on a supplemental income. You can live on your income
Oh,
and then you supplement your income with a supplemental income. That's what nutrition is. Nutritional supplements are. You have calories, you have food, and then you supplement those foods. You supplement with nutritional supplements to make sure that you're getting the abundant and the generous quantities, the vitamins, minerals, amino's, and fatty acids that you need. But yes, you still need food, correct food, but not a lot, 1,000, 1,200 calories a day. And remember, a Big Mac hamburger's got almost 1,000 calories in it, 750 calories or so.
so if he likes eggs and will eat eggs without a problem
Yeah.
and very little else.
Eggs are pretty close to a perfect food, but they're still not perfect. You still need fiber. You're not going to get any fiber. You still need vitamin C. There's a trace amount of vitamin C in eggs, but there's nowhere near enough vitamin C. And you still need generous amounts of nutrients. So you may get, I don't know, 20 milligrams of zinc from an egg, maybe less, maybe 10, 15 milligrams of zinc. You need 50 milligrams of zinc a day. You may get 20 or 30 IU of vitamin E a day. You need 400 IU of vitamin E a day. So you're not going to get it. Eggs are a perfect food in the sense that they're well-rounded. And no pun intended, they're well-rounded in terms of they have everything you need in them, but not the quantities. We want the body to be saturated. I got a call. I don't know if I talked about this yet, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself. I got a call from, I was on Coast to Coast, and somebody asked me about the quantities of nutrients on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And I explained to them that you want abundant nutrients. The RDAs, which is how we base our nutritional intake, not us in this room, but how most people base their nutritional intake, is designed to keep you from getting a disease. So take vitamin C. You need about 100 milligrams of vitamin C to prevent suffering from a horrible disease called scurvy. Scurvy is just about one of the most horrible diseases you can have. And all you need is 100 milligrams a day to prevent scurvy. But if you want to have strong joints and beautiful skin and a great immune system and wonderful detoxification and healthy adrenals and healthy thyroid, you need 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C. The recommended daily allowances, which I tease people, I call them the ridiculous deficiency allowance, is there to keep you from dying. And not just dying, but dying a horrible death. It's not there to allow you to thrive. We deserve so much more than just not being dead, than just not having scurvy. We deserve to be strong and vital and powerful and resistant and happy and imaginative and creative, and we deserve to be able to fight viruses and colds and bacteria and be resilient. All the wonderful stuff that requires abundant nutrients. Yeah, you can get by on the minimum wage. You can get by on $20 an hour or $18 an hour, but you deserve so much more. We're leaving health on the table. And so nutritional supplementation guarantees that you'll have that copious, generous amount of nutrients that you need to have a full, thriving, healthy, successful physical life. If you just want to not be dead, the medical model is great for that. In fact, they are so happy to keep you alive that they'll keep you comatose like a vegetable with tubes coming out of your mouth, just so you're not dead. That's all they care about, that you're not dead. They'll cut off all your limbs and cut out your body parts just so you don't die, and they'll keep you alive that way. We deserve so much more than just being kept alive. Now, does that mean that saving your life is a problem? No, the medical model will save your life, but we deserve more than just having our life saved. We are capable of so much more than we're being told or than that we know. And that is the promise of longevity nutritional supplementations. The promise is that you will be able to access your full capability. We're satisfied with this much. We have this much. And that's what nutritional supplementation allows you to have. Yeah, you can get by with just eating food and not supplementing, and you might make it to age 60 or 70, but you're not going to have a great life. If you want a great life, you have to have abundance, and we deserve it. We deserve abundance. And for $70, man, this is incredible. For $70 a month, this thing, it's mind-blowing. And I've been formulating supplements my whole adult life since I was in my 20s. This thing is induplicatable. There's nothing like it. And for $70 a month, are you kidding me? Not to mention the entire Mighty 90 essential nutrients in the Healthy Start Pack. All right,
Yeah.
so let's get some questions here before we.
Let's get some questions real quick. Okay, so let's move right over to AJ. AJ, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Pharmacist Ben, how are you?
Good to see you. You look
Hoping
like
that you can answer all 7 questions within the next 7 minutes.
you look like you just escaped from the mental hospital, though. What happened? What's that white
Oh
thing?
man,
What is that? What is that white coat? Were you in the rubber room or something?
Yeah, see, it's a shirt, but see, you got me, and then Rebecca saying my town stinks. I mean, this is just what a day. So at any rate, I have a woman who we spoke about this briefly. I just want to run down a couple of things here: cervical dystonia, tremors, Hashimoto's, and then the main thing that I think you're going to mention is the GERD. And
Yeah,
on
Go ahead.
many meds, Clonopin, Seroquel. Wondering though if the de-stress I recommended in the valerian is going to be too much.
No.
And she's gone like
Wait. The person asked if de-stress would be too much.
Because it has valerian root in it, apparently. So
That's just that shows you
on 10 medications,
I
however.
know. Well, that's the disconnect. So I don't know how, I mean, I'm happy to help this person because, and I said this before, but I'll say it again, the sicker we are, the faster we turn it around. The sicker we are, the faster we turn it around. Now, it may take you longer to completely turn it around, but you can begin the process quickly. Within 24 hours, this could be a new woman. But you have to start taking some corrective measures. Now, yes, you're absolutely right. The GERD tells me that there's some digestive issues. That's the first point on the triangle of disease. And she didn't mention the second point, but she mentioned the third point. She has Hashimoto's. Hashimoto's is hypothyroidism. The thyroid regulates everything. Once you're hypothyroid, once you have a thyroid issue, everything shuts down. Everything slows down. You're operating on at less than peak efficiency, depending on how far along, could be at half efficiency. Now, she didn't mention metabolic syndrome, but that's the second point in the triangle of disease. You can be guaranteed that that's there. So what do? This is a woman who should be on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine this minute. Is she on the call?
No.
Get on the BTT now. Just now. That'll change your life. Now, you need way more than that. She's got to work on the digestive system. She should be doing a food diary and seeing what foods are causing her digestive problems. At this point, I'm guessing this woman's in her 60s or 70s because this kind of deterioration.
70s, 80s, and anxiety is her biggest thing that they have to run the drugs for.
Well, look, if she wants help, she can be helped. I can guarantee that. 100% guaranteed she could be a new person in 24 hours. The doctors cannot help her. I love my doctor friends. I'm not ripping on doctors here. There's nothing in the doctor's toolkit, magical bag of tricks that can help this situation. Nothing. If we go to a doctor and we have these kinds of conditions, we've drank the Kool-Aid. We don't know what to do, so we're just going. We've been told we've been infected by a mind virus, as I've talked about. There's nothing the doctors can do for this woman except make things worse. But she can do it herself with us. First thing, you're going to have to eliminate your problem foods and see what those problem foods are. Secondly, you want to get on the Healthy Start Pack, not today, now, this minute. The faster you get on it, the faster you're going to notice results. Now, she is 80, so all the stuff has probably been going on for 50 or 60 or 70 or maybe even 80 years. And so it's going to take some time, but she can start the process immediately. And for her to worry about valerian and de-stress when she's got this kind of position, and I don't mean to make fun of it or laugh about it because it's very, very serious, but it just shows you how little we understand how the body is put together. You cannot count on the medical community to do anything but keep you alive. And she's being kept alive. But she deserves more than just being kept alive. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
We deserve more than that. We're setting the bar so low on this beautiful experience of life when we're just satisfied with not being dead.
Is there anything that you think of in the longevity line that might help her with her anxiety and sleep?
Healthy Start Pack. Healthy Start Pack will help with everything. Right now, she needs a lot of stuff, but the Healthy Start Pack will help with everything. Yes, okay. I'm happy. If this gal wants to talk to me, I'm happy to do that. Or if she wants to talk to you, AJ, I'm happy to work with you or anybody. I'm happy to work with her. And she can be helped. And again, the sicker we are, the faster we can turn it around. The more nutritionally deficient we are, the faster our body will absorb those nutrients. And keep in mind, every time you take a drug, nutritional resources vitamins, minerals, aminos, and fatty acids are being rerouted to the liver to clear those drugs out. So drugs will have, we all know about adverse reactions and side effects. You can just go to online and look up adverse reactions and side effects, or in the physician's desk reference. Those are, everybody knows about. But what we don't recognize is there are hidden health challenges that are associated with drugs that are caused by the rerouting and depletion of scarce, precious nutrients that are being used to detoxify that drug. And if somebody's not supplementing, you can rest assured she's going to be deficient in vitamin C, in the B complex, in copper, in magnesium, all of which can induce anxiety. That could be a lot. It's a lot of other things too. I'm not saying that's the only thing, but she can be helped simply by being put on a healthy start, being put on the Healthy Start Pack. And if anybody knows this gal, I'm guaranteeing you that if she gets on the Healthy Start Pack, even if she just starts the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, she will notice the difference in less than 24 hours. Does anybody on this call know this gal?
I've spoken to her a few times, but
okay,
I'm going to pass that advice on.
Pass it on. She could change this today.
You the man.
All right. Anybody else?
All right, yes, let's go right over to Phyllis.
Ben, I have a complaint. This is so much great information. I cannot write it down fast enough.
Well, that's why there's always next week.
And also re-listening. Okay, we have on YouTube, you have it made, somebody calling, I think it's a guy, calling himself that. His mother has had many stent surgeries, has been put on Plavix indefinitely, also diagnosed with sudden sensory hearing loss. What are her options?
Well, all of that is just a sign that the body's deteriorating. Remember, there's 5,000 to 10,000 different diagnoses, but there's really only one. What's that one? MBFA? What's MBFA disease?
My body's falling apart.
My body is falling apart disease. She's suffering from MBFA disease. Hey, Coach Rod. I see Coach Rod over there. MBFA disease. My body is falling apart disease. So the ear issue is inflammation. It's likely inflammation at the level of the ear, or possibly in the brain, but more than likely at the level of the ear. So her body is inflaming. What was the first thing you said?
She has had many stent surgeries.
Stents, right.
She's on Plavix.
So a stent is like a spreader that goes in the blood vessels that opens everything up. They use the stents when the blood vessels are closed up or clogged up and blood's not getting through. So this is a woman that's got cardiovascular issues. Mm-hmm. Cardiovascular issues mean blood issues. The blood's not moving like it should. Why does blood not move like it should? Well, there's a few reasons, but the most important reason is dirty blood. When the blood becomes dirty, that is immune activating. We talk about the immune system all the time, but what we don't recognize is the immune system is in the blood. It's the blood that's delivering the immune system. So the blood is readily inflamed. Do you know the blood is considered to be tissue? Liquid tissue, liquid connective tissue. And the same inflammation you have in your joints can happen in the blood. Once the blood becomes inflamed and immune activated, it doesn't deliver nutrients. It doesn't deliver oxygen. It doesn't detoxify. It doesn't detoxify the body as well. All the other health challenges follow that. That's why I say all disease is cell disease, but all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. The question then becomes, how does the blood get dirty? We got to know how it gets dirty so we can keep it clean. Well, it only gets dirty through two ways. The body's a closed system. It's a circle that is separated from the outside. That's what a closed system is. Closed system, you can think of as a circle that is separated from the outside world. Does that make sense?
Sure does.
In physics, there's a law. A law in physics is like the law of gravity. It's always true. So the law of gravity is always true. In physics, there's a law called the law of conservation of energy in a closed system. Technically, conservation of momentum in a closed system. Conservation in a closed system. That means in a closed system, everything stays the same. The body is such a closed system. It's closed. But there's two entry points. One entry point is through the skin. So the blood, I should say, the blood is a closed system. It's inside. It doesn't have any interaction with the outside world. So under perfect circumstances, the blood's going to go about its business, do everything correctly. But there's two openings. And these two openings have to be guarded with great vigilance. The one entry point into the bloodstream is through the skin. And this is why I say anybody who tells you to inject anything through your skin without being 100% careful about what they're putting in, they say, oh, we have this new genetic invention, it's all high tech, and you can inject it through your skin and your blood, and you'll never get a virus again, you better be very careful. You better be very careful when you inject something into the skin, into the blood through the skin. And it's no accident that myocarditis and blood clotting and young people dropping dead of heart attacks and overall cardiovascular mortality from cardiovascular health issues are going through the roof over the last 4 years. Life, just go look at the actuarial tables. It's no accident. You can imagine why. We've been injecting things. Aside from that, the major place where the blood becomes toxic, where the major entry point into the closed system that is the circulatory system, is food. Because this is the way the system's designed. At the level of the intestine, things cross over into the blood. And when they cross over into the blood, when we're healthy, it's a very tightly regulated process. It's like when you go to Canada, or you go to Mexico, or you go to Europe or another country, they don't just let you in the country. They ask you, what are you doing? Who do you know? How much money do you have? What are you carrying in your bags? They vet you. They interview you. They don't just let you in the country. And the body is the same way. When it comes time to enter into the country of the blood, all the things that are in the intestine get vetted. Are you okay? Are you the enemy? Or what do you have? What's the purpose? Okay, you're good. You can go into the intestine. However, as the impact of nutritional deficiencies, poor food choices, poor lifestyle choices kick in, eventually the intestine becomes leaky. It becomes weak. Things bypass that vetting process, that immigration process, the customs department, and they bypass it and get into the blood inappropriately. Once that happens, you're off to the disease races. That's called leaky gut syndrome or intestinal permeability syndrome. And when I say all disease is cell disease and all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood, this is how the blood becomes dirty. Once the blood becomes dirty, it doesn't move as effectively. It doesn't flow as effectively. It doesn't deliver its nutrients as effectively. It doesn't deliver oxygen or detoxify as effectively. And when this happens in the heart, that's especially problematic because the heart is very dependent on nutrition, very dependent on oxygen, very dependent on detoxification, very dependent on perfusion, on blood flow. And so when that happens, you can run into big problems. The heart can start to fibrillate, or it doesn't beat correctly. You're more prone towards blood clots because the blood's not moving correctly. So what they'll do is they'll open it up mechanically with what they call a stent. Open it up this way, and then the blood can flow better. But you haven't corrected the stickiness.
Yep.
You've allowed the blood to flow, but you still have the toxicity in the blood. So this woman is not being corrected. She's being kept alive, but she's not had the problem corrected. The doctors can't do it, but she can do it, and we can do it. And you do it by working on food first. Yet another reason why you focus on the digestive system first. And listen, I'm all about simplification. I want to simplify things. In pharmacy school, we get taught to simplify very complicated information about biochemistry, about medicinal chemistry, about pharmacological chemistry, about biology, and about disease states, so that we can teach the public about it. And this is what we actually get taught, how to teach people about health. And one of the things I do, and this is very important, and I do it all the time, so I don't want people to take it for granted because it's very important, the triangle of disease. It breaks everything down to just 3 points, really only 2 points. Digestion, blood sugar, digestion, blood sugar, digestion, blood sugar, food, and metabolic syndrome. Food choices, metabolic syndrome. Just those 2 points. You don't have to do anything else. Just those 2 points, and you're going to notice dramatic improvement. And I don't want to say you don't have to do anything else. Ultimately, there's a lot of things to do, but to start, food and metabolic syndrome, food and sugar. And those are the two basic points, the foundation of the triangle of disease.
And once she addresses those 2 points,
you'll notice results almost immediately.
That's right.
Almost
and she can add that extra nutrition.
Absolutely. But she'll notice results almost immediately. And for people selling longevity, we want our patients to notice things immediately. We don't want them to wait. We want them to notice something in 24 to 48 hours. And they can. If you do it correctly, they'll notice things in 24 to 48 hours. And that's what you want your patient to see. Because then they'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. My doctor never told me this. What else do you have? Can you help me out some more? And that's, as longevity representatives, that's what we want. That's a situation that we want. We want the client saying, oh my God, you're right. Nobody else told me this. What else can I do? What else can you provide me with? That's how you do your business. You get them to notice quick results. And changing the way they eat or fasting, or reducing their sugar intake, all of that will give them quick results. Beyond Tangy Tangerine will give them quick results. Don't bombard them at first. Now, a lot of times people will call and they'll get put on 20 or 30 different products or 10 different products at first. Don't do that. Start them off so they see, so they actually can observe and live the results quickly. Then they'll ask what else they can do.
I love it. So simple.
Yes, it's very, very simple, and we overthink it.
Do you have time for one more?
Sure.
All right. And by the way, you blew my mind with the blood as liquid tissue. I really had a little,
right?
Wow. And gets inflamed. My goodness.
Yes.
Okay. So Olga on YouTube, she's wondering which of 2 longevity products is better to support mental focus and concentration. And the first one is Synaptive. There's another one called Reverse, which I myself am not familiar with. And I don't know if you are.
It's called Reverse?
Reverse. It's part of the Free Lifeline.
Oh, it's the new line.
Now, she thinks the Reverse may have a little more stuff in it. So
Synaptive is pretty darn awesome. But I don't know those new products, but I'm looking right now real quick. If I can find the nutrition facts, I'll tell you.
The Reverse is a premium anti-aging multi-nutrient formula developed using the most current scientific understanding of how and why we age. It contains 75
Yeah, I'm looking here.
nutrients.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like the Synaptive better though, but this is still a good one. I gotta study about this one. Reverse.
Thank you so much. Thanks for blowing my mind today, as always.
All right, thank you, and thank you everybody. And I'm always available if you guys have questions during the week. You don't have to wait till Friday. I'm happy to answer. And I do. I'm doing videos now almost every other day or so on another longevity channel, and I'm happy to talk to everybody. My favorite thing in the world, next to working on myself personally, is to help other people and help folks understand how their bodies work and understand nutrition. I love doing it. So please don't feel like you're bothering me or, it's too difficult. As long as you're willing. The number one thing people have to have, we all have to have, if we want to get better or if we want to stay healthy, is willingness. I don't want to ever be in a position of persuading anybody. I never persuade. But if you're willing, I'm here for you.
And Coach Rod has a question for you also. So
yes.
If you have one more minute, go ahead and unmute.
Hey, going, Ben? How's it going?
Good to see you.
You too, likewise. What do you suggest a young man, 19 years old, with tremors? He developed tremors, no other health conditions.
No, there's got to be all kinds of health conditions. A couple things. First of all, see if you can do a food diary and see if he notices certain foods will cause tremors. By the way, Parkinson's disease, which is also marked by tremors, is now well recognized as a digestive and food issue, and they're even using what's called fecal transplants for Parkinson's. You can say you heard it here first, because I've been talking about that for decades, how Parkinson's, which is tremors, is associated to digestive health issues. So the first thing is look for flare-ups and associate flare-ups with foods, and it'll help to do a food diary. Secondly, the B vitamins are your nerve vitamins. So high doses of Beyond Tangy Tangerine throughout the day. One of the best things about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is the B vitamins, as well as the electrolytes, which are also important. And then thirdly, fats, essential fatty acids for the nerves, the ultimate EFAs. So work on the foods, look for food issues. Number 2, Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And then number 3, the ultimate EFAs. And then also, I would look, if I was talking to this guy, or maybe if you know him, ask him for other health issues. And this is important because sometimes people say, well, I only have tremors, I don't have anything else. That's not the way the body works. There are other things, but they go under the radar. And so finding symptoms is always your best friend, because the more symptoms you have, the more a picture will emerge on what's happening in the body. You remember Bob Ross, the painter Bob Ross? You guys know who Bob Ross was? He's a painter. I used to watch him when I was a kid, and he would be do these amazing things on canvas, right? So Bob Ross would put a little splash in the middle of this white canvas, and you'd go, oh, wow, what is that? And they put another splash of paint, and all of a sudden you go, oh my God, that's a mountain. And they put another splash of paint, and you go, oh my God, that's a river. Another, and then all of a sudden there's a tree. And as he's putting splashes of paint, a picture will emerge from the canvas. This is what symptoms are relative to health challenges. One symptom, I got tremors, that's just a splash right in the middle of the canvas. That doesn't tell me anything. But if I have a second splash, then I can see a picture start to emerge. A third splash, now a real picture is emerging, and now I can do something. With one symptom, you can't really do anything. You're relegated to guessing. Two symptoms, you can start to see something emerge. Three, it's called triangulation. You need really three symptoms to triangulate a picture. With three symptoms, you can start to see what's happening. Nonetheless, tremors usually involve some kind of inflammation at the level of the brain. And that inflammation at the level of the brain usually involves dirty blood. And that's why you're always going to backtrack to food, having to do a food issue. Hang on just a second. Be right with you, okay? Hang on a second. Okay, I got a bolt, you guys. I'm late for my call.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pharmacist Ben. We appreciate
Thank you, everybody.
and all of the information you bring.
God bless
Next week, let's just do questions because we have at least a dozen more questions. So
okay. Bye, everybody.
All right. All right. Bye for now. And if I could get our co-hosts up on the screen with us, thank you so much. We could not do this without having a team. I could not do this without having a team. Maybe I could, but it wouldn't be as fun, as interactive, as less stressful. There's a lot of things that, when you put many hands together, it makes light work. Well, I love the fact that we're able to take that light work, helping people find a better health journey. So if you yourself would love to be able to help others find a better health journey, we invite you to get back with the person that shared this program with you and say, hey, how can I get involved? How can I help? How can I help make a difference and be part of the solution of what the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry has destroyed within our well-being? If there's nobody to thank, you can give us a call, 855-949-3377. One of our team will answer that phone. They're certified holistic health coaches, and they have a heart and desire to help others, not just succeed with a better health journey, but also to succeed in creating that supplemental income, which for some of us, that supplemental income became our main income, and there's other things that supplement it. Not that this is an income claim, and the products don't diagnose, treat any, or cure any diseases. But folks, when you give the body what it needs, the body itself can do some amazing things. And I know Dr. Wallach is on or was on with us. So my screen is doing crazy stuff.
Yes.
So Doc, hey, I hear your voice.
Yes,
Thank you, Doc, for creating this crusade.
It was a beautiful, beautiful program today. Thank you so much for carrying on in the beginning of the holiday weekend. And
Yes.
It's going to be great.
Yes. So today is just the first day of the rest of our lives, Dr. Wallach. And folks, if you would like to learn more about Dr. Wallach, his philosophy, and become a certified holistic health coach, whether it's for yourself or to build a business, go to coachwithdoc.com. That's coachwithdoc.com. and get more information about the Certified Holistic Health Coach course. And use the savings code, the discount code, all caps, SAVE50. No, you want to call us. Sorry, I'm getting scolded here. You want to give us a call at 855-949-3377. We can answer all your questions about the coaching course and get you started with even a payment plan. So that's why you want to call us. And then if you want more about Dr. Wallach and his books, you can go to drjwallach.com. That is drjwallach.com. Now, this is a holiday weekend, folks. We will not be having Daily with Doc on Monday. So I know this is news for the crew. Sorry, AJ. But it just dawned on me, hey, it's Labor Day. We don't have to work. We work all the other days. So we will be not having a live show on Monday. I know, AJ's crying. So is Albert. So am I. but we need to have a break too and spend time with our family and doing something to help them, because we care so much about helping others that we need to not forget about our own or ourselves, for those that don't have family. So folks, get back with the person that shared this program with you. And if there is no one to thank, you can go to dailywithdoc.com. There's a contact option there. We had lots of questions that did not get answered. You can use questions at dailywithdoc.com. Submit those questions there. If you want more information about the coaching course and you prefer to do it by email, then email us, info@dailywithdoc.com. That's info @dailywithdoc.com. And that is for people that want to become involved, want more information about what we do, and have skills that you want to contribute to the cause of helping others. My name is Becca Dukes. Thank you again so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc. Thank you to our amazing audience with all their questions coming in live and also watching the live stream. We want to just do a shout out to all of you. Let us know where you're joining us from. Just type in there, hello, and then whatever state or country you're in. And also share this program with somebody you know. A lot of information was shared today that could be very helpful and life-changing to somebody that you know and love. So talk to you later. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. We love you all.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Love you
guys.
too.
Thank you, team. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doc. Bye-bye for now. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.